You have a book signing on Saturday at Barnes and Noble. What was that time again?
From 1 to 3.
It will be awesome.
Bill,
I hope so.
Bill, let me ask you this. So many projects, you always have so many balls up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
What is next for you? What's on your notepad now that you're working on?
Well, you are right in that there are always a lot of things. And so it's really a question of getting the discipline to focus on one. Or somebody who says, we paid you money, finish it by now, right? So,
or send the money back. Yeah.
Sort of based on that, and finish her question, but kind of work mine in. Right. Because you just started your new company called Howdy Bot. There's got to be a tug of war at some point, or at least a time problem, a conflict when it comes to you're working for yourself. I mean, in the sense that my friend John owns a trucking business, and he says, my boss is lazy and my salesmen are all sick. He's a one-guy operation. Okay. How do you sort of weigh that between the managerial side and the artistic side, and how do you keep those in balance?
I have an agent who yells at me on a fairly consistent basis.
I mean, I would think at some point but you have to make decisions.
Yes, I do.
About yourself.
I'm telling you, and sometimes it isn't easy. Sometimes it's like, we're supposed to have this turned in on Friday, but I really want to work on this, and I have to weigh that. And usually,
or sometimes
what I know is that there are days when I'm not going to get it done right on one project, that my mind and heart are elsewhere, and if I fight that too hard, I'm not going to do either one the justice that they need. So I'll give it my best shot, and if it's not working out on whatever project.
Have you found that being Bill Joyce manager is in any way as fun as being Bill Joyce
creator? On, that's a dumb question.
No.
Look, I'm 60 now. It's like it all kind of has a rhythm to it that I know how to get the job done one way or another. And deadlines are usually placed on you by other people, and it's for them, not for you.
But what is your project of the day? Project
of the day.
Yeah.
I'm working on a musical, an animated musical right now called The Scarecrow and the Nightingale. That's a story I came up with about 2 years ago that I've been working on pretty consistently. It's also going to be a book and a novel. But what we're focusing on right now is the movie version of it. And we hope to start production on a short film, a sort of proof of concept short film for it this summer. And if I were to describe it, as they like to do in Hollywood terms, by comparing it to other films, I would say it's a combination of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou with The Wizard of Oz.
I knew you were going to say Wizard of Oz.
There you go.
Aim small, miss small.
Yeah, and doing it all here. It'll all be done here.
Well, at least the initial part. I mean, we'll see. I mean, once we finish the short and everything like that, we will see if we're going to. If it makes the tax incentives here have gotten so strong again that it's incredibly alluring. So we'll see.
You expect film businesses, more films to come to Louisiana now as a result of the changes?
It's going to take a little longer than it did last time because people are a little skittish because we've changed our rules, several times. But we're absolutely competitive with everybody else right now, and in some ways much more competitive with most. So it's going to take a while, but it's going to start trickling back, I think.
You just said something very interesting, at least what I thought was interesting. Well, I'm 60 years old. Can you, and I know you have
it's
friends.
Kind of a horrifying phrase. Yeah.
Well, only halfway to 120.
I tell people I'm middle-aged if I live to be 120.
But we both have friends who are, for lack of a better term, starting to shut it down. Time to hang it up. Time to retire. Can you imagine a day? Can you imagine where you go? I think I'm just going to
go
fishing.
I wish that would happen, but I have so many stories inside me, and part of the thing that happens, like when a story pops into my head, and sometimes it'll just be fully formed, or sometimes it'll take me a little while to kind of gather it together. But I know I've got something that I want to tell, And that feeling is so intense. It's like, I can't keep this to myself. You know, I want to share this. I think this is good. And that hasn't happened. I haven't had a slowdown in that. In fact, I've had kind of a ramp up.
That makes me think of this question that may be a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Oh, good. We'll end on a stupid question.
Are people born with that creativeness in them, or can they become? I mean, were you born this Bill Joyce creative genius? You know what I mean? Or can some people develop it and you can become a creative wonder?
I think it can happen in any way that succeeds or even doesn't succeed. I think everybody wants to tell stories. You know, you sit around and what do you guys do all day? You tell stories here on air. And when you're done, you talk about your day. I mean, that's just part of the natural, you know, human condition. But there are people that want to do it almost exclusively. They want for some reason to make order out of their lives or life by making narratives. And sometimes I don't even know why I'm telling stories sometimes. I don't know what the point of the story is, oftentimes until I'm finished. And usually it takes someone who knows me well to say, oh, you're addressing this thing that happened in your life. But I don't know that at the time. It's just coursing through me. But I do know that I've done it ever since I was a little kid. But I had a great deal of support, not just with my parents and my family, but with people here in town. It's one of the reasons why I like to stay here. Shreveport is a very artistically encouraging town. It may not seem that way, but we have a symphony, we have an opera, we have a ballet,
yeah.
We have a very vibrant theater community. Now we have the Robinson Film Center. We have art space. We have so much stuff, and Film Fest. That those are all sort of, if not story oriented, you know, they are about focusing your everything in your life on a specific component of something that usually has something to do with a story. You know, operas have a story. Symphonies have a story that you make in your head. You see images with the music that you're hearing. That was all around when I was a kid, and that is very unusual for a town this size. So I knew those people, and I was around that stuff. And so I was encouraged from day one to draw and make up stories. And that helped me get to grow up and think of this as a thing I can do to make a living, because I knew other grown-ups who did the same.